Rocketman dares to show Elton John as vulnerable, damaged and ugly. That is the headline on this week's Movie Burner News, John.
So the complete opposite of Bohemian Rhapsody then, Stephen, because that didn't dare to show Freddie Mercury as being ugly and obviously just a human figure who had these dark, deep recesses that he'd go to. Had his faults and obviously incredible highs. But yeah, Stephen, this excites me tremendously. It's obviously Dexter Fletcher who was involved with Bohemian Rhapsody to some extent. We still don't know how that split was, the ratio of
we'll never know.
Bryan Singer and Dexter Fletcher. We will never know. It was like the whole Ron Howard and what are they called? Chris Lord and Phil Miller. Yeah, that's the ones. The split between them and Rogue One. You'll never, not Rogue One, Solo, a Star Wars Story. You'll never know that split. I digress. I'm going to talk about Star Wars. It's not the Force Friday show yet. But as I did say, very excited, Stephen, just because it is the same guy who was involved with Bohemian Rhapsody. He's also into this kind of a restrictive set and a screenplay where obviously Queen have been quite adamant they didn't want the film to go down the dark recesses of Freddie's life, and they wanted to shy away from that, gloss over it and have it be a celebration of the music. By all accounts, this is still going to be a celebration of obviously Elton John's music, his career, how he's grew as a man from the, I believe, the 60s and the 70s upwards into, I think it's maybe ending in the 80s. I don't think it's going into the shite years of the 90s and Candid in the Wind and stuff like that.
John, just before I let you back in regards to that, I'm glad they're doing that, and I'm glad that Elton John is giving it his blessing as well. Basically, he's letting them have a free-for-all here. He wants to see warts and all in this movie, and we'll go into it a little bit further in the article in a moment, John. Difference with Bohemian Rhapsody was it was a... that's the beauty of being in a band, and it's a democracy. You know, you don't always get your own way. No. With Elton John giving it his blessing, that's the key here. That's the difference as well. I think Dexter Fletcher will do a great job in this. He's a fantastic director. He's a great writer as well. And from what we've saw already from those early trailers, it looks really good.
Brilliant,
The key to it as well, we know that we're getting this Bowie one further down the line with no David Bowie music, original music. I think this is going to be laced with a lot of Elton John's early stuff, his best stuff, and I think that's why they're capturing that sort of period in time as well. It's always interesting to see as well in the article that we're going to see Elton John hit rock bottom at the very start of the movie.
That's an interesting way of doing it, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's going to be told through his therapy. I think there's going to be a lot of flashbacks and flash forwards and sequences, probably some dream sequences in there as well. We got a hint of that in the trailer.
Well, I was going to say that,
stuff. So I think they're going down the right road with this, and it looks very promising.
That may be what they were talking about when they says it was going to be an almost sort of a dreamscape at times, where the music was going to blend into a kind of a wacky, other real sort of a reality. I did get vibes of that in the trailer. I says at the time when I reacted to it, I didn't really see it, but when you go back and watch it, Stephen, that moment he goes out with the baseball, and obviously the baseball sort of a uniform on, the stadium's a little bit surreal. There's a little bit too much other real stuff.
Well, the stage looks like more of a you know, a music hall.
Yeah, it does. But the actual, you get the big stadium obviously portrayed. Projected. It looks strange. So I think we will see this. I think we'll perhaps see this projected through his therapy, how it's changed him as a person, because obviously he was getting into heavy shit. I'm pretty damn sure it was psychedelic stuff and things like that. And as we've seen with John Lennon, that really does change your mind forever. It opens up things that perhaps you maybe want opened up, things you don't want opened up, so it changes you. So him going through rehab early in the film, telling perhaps his story through flashbacks, or maybe he went through it when he was very young and then went on to pursue his career. I actually don't know much about Elton John, which is why this is going to be an educational film for me in many ways. So maybe it's just going to be him hitting a low early on and then growing as a person from it. I don't know. I don't know if you know more about the man.
I don't, John, no, to be honest with you.
But I'm really excited for it, Stephen. Just I read a brilliant article about Taron Egerton as well, how he's really taken the role on, took it to heart. He's a great singer himself. I think he's performed in musicals. He's much in a kind of a similar vein. He's like a poor man's Hugh Jackman. I don't want to compare him to Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman, I think, is the greatest sort of a triumvirate. I think triumvirate's the word. Of acting. He can do everything. He can do drama, stage acting, musical stuff, everything, man. He's just an outstanding guy in terms of just artistic ability and everything, man. But Taron's a Hugh Jackman light. He can sing, he can act. He's got a great all-round package. So he's taking this to heart. He's singing all of the songs, I do believe, and he's doing a great job of it. We've seen that in the trailer. So it's going to be great to see him getting the blessing of Elton John himself, taking on this role, warts and all. It's great to see this authentic telling of a man's life.
Billy Elliot.
Because I really did, Billy Elliot, the writers there.
Well, it's Jamie Bell. It's going to be playing Bernie Taupin in this. That's the other part of the article I was wanting to ask you about, John, in regards to the relationship between them, because I actually thought they were going to. I think it mentions John Reid, which was one of Elton John's long-term relationships. Played, exactly. I thought they were going to go down that road. I think that's still going to be involved in the movie, but I think it's going to be more heavily focused on Elton John and Bernie Taupin. How do you feel about that, John? Because that's kind of scratching the surface on his sexuality, because I thought, reading that headline, that was the road they were going to go down. If that was the road they were going to go down, you know, hats off to them. You know, they're taking a risk, taking a chance, but I don't think Elton John's that bothered. I don't think the man has many regrets in his life.
No, he doesn't. No, and why should he, Stephen? He's a very successful guy. He's also done things his way. He's rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way sometimes in his life. Some people don't like him, think he's a little bit obnoxious, but I don't take that at all. I actually think he's quite a character.
I think he's very honest.
Yeah, he's very honest, and he's quite a character, and he's quite a charitable guy as well. He will go out his way and help people out who are not as fortunate as him. So, I've not got any issues with that, Stephen. I'm really scraping the surface of certain issues, because he has got such a rich and illustrious sort of a life. He's a lot going on there over this span of 20, 30 years. Also the music, the drugs, the general life of debauchery that 90% of artists in the 70s and the 60s seem to live. Even getting into the 80s, we've seen it with Freddie Mercury, we've seen it with John Lennon. He went off and done his mad weekend in the middle of the 1970s. They just went into the drugs, the alcohol, really testing the boundaries of their sexuality and stuff like that. We've seen it with Bowie, and also Mick Jagger as well, famously. So it's something that was really... Every single artist around about that time seemed to have that in them, so you can't really centre an entire film on that. It can be a side arc, a prominent side arc, with obviously his more prominent relationships with the likes of the guy you mentioned, Stephen, John Reid, was it? John Reid, played by Richard Madden. They say that, I think that's going to be the primary relationship it's going to be explored. The most significant gay relationship explored in the film is Elton John's relationship with John Reid. So they're saying, as you did say, but if there's a love story in the film, then it's his love story between him and Bernie Taupin. So, and also the incredible music they produced. So you're right, Stephen, in a way, it is kind of a scraping over that, glossing over that sort of a gay romantic element with the John Reid character, perhaps in favour of the more music side thing, and just the success he's had producing this over 50 years with this figure, Bernie Taupin. So I'm not too bothered. We've seen it with Bohemian Rhapsody to a larger extent, where they kind of glossed over some aspects to give us a more linear and kind of a, how would you say, manufactured experience, and just celebrating the music. As long as we're getting something that's really befitting of the man's life, and it's kind of a true to him, and by all accounts, getting into this drug side and the rehab and whatnot is going to be somewhat fitting and somewhat close to his life anyway. As long as we get the music, we get understanding of what the hell was going on in his life in the early days, I'm happy. Perhaps
Dexter Fletcher's took on board the criticism that Bohemian Rhapsody did get for certain things that they didn't touch.
Did he write this film, Stephen? I don't recall.
I'm not sure, John. I'm not sure.
We'll have a little look now while you're talking.
But listen, I'm looking forward to it. I like a lot of Elton John's music from that period. I think that was sort of his the high point in his musical career. He's a terrific showman, even through the 80s and 90s.
Lee Hall wrote it, Stephen.
Puts I don't know who he is, but he
done Billy Elliot. That was right. He did.
I'm looking forward to it. I don't know when its release date is, John, but I'm looking forward to it.
It's coming out the 24th of May 2019, so not long away at all.
A couple of months away, John. So I'm looking forward to it on that basis. Similar to yourself, I don't really know too much about Elton John's personal life, just through his music. It'll be very interesting to see how Dexter Fletcher handles that, and the writer, of course, you just mentioned, how they portray him in this as well. But I'm glad to see that Elton John's got some hand in it as well, because you've got the man there to sort of collaborate with, and he'll be able to tell you whether it's things are true, rumours and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. I don't know if you've got anything more to add.
I've not got much more to add, Stephen. I'm really looking forward to the film.
So listen, we'll move on to the next article. It came in from Screen Daily here. This is to do with the Disney takeover of Fox. Unfortunately, there's always going to be casualties, and this is the headline. Walt Disney Studios announces senior hierarchy after Fox executive cull. Now this is to do with it's going to be an executive
there was 3,000
redundancy. 3,000,
and Thursday last week.
Yeah, and we knew about the closure of, was it 21st Century Fox?
Fox 2000,
Fox 2000, we knew about that as well. That came out, I think, after we'd already did Movie Burner News last week. But being in a similar circumstance to this, John, when there's a takeover, certainly not to this sort of degree, but the sort of same effect it has on staff members is quite a depressing stage when there's a takeover on, John. I've been there. It's a sort of a, you're in a kind of limbo state until you get this dreaded news, which these unfortunate 3,000 members of staff at Fox were told last Thursday to expect quite a change. That doesn't mean they're all getting laid off. It could mean that they're moving to different departments. Some departments getting stripped down, merged, etc., that kind of thing. Yeah,
that's exactly what I think's happening, Stephen. You think of just the sheer scale of Fox as well, Stephen. It's just it's a gargantuan studio. Seeing these two behemoth studios come together is really, it's unprecedented. And you'd think within Fox there's going to be a damn sight more than 3,000 jobs in a studio of that size.
Definitely.
It's probably going to be employing 10, 12,000 people, you would have thought. That may be a bit high, but this is a sizable amount of people have been given redundancy packages. But by all accounts, I did hear elsewhere that they've been given 1 to 2 years worth of severance pay, so it's not like they're getting thrown out the door with a couple of months' pay. They've been well reimbursed, and I'm sure these people, if they're skilled enough, will go off and find a job and employment in Hollywood.
I hope so, John.
No problem.
I don't like to see that, you know.
But the one thing that strikes me, Stephen, before I get into the Fox 2000 thing, which is probably the biggest travesty of this kind of a merger, the sheer amount of people which are actually continuing, or who are actually continuing to take their jobs in Disney. They're not really merging that many of the top players from Fox in, and kind of a flip-flopping and changing things about. It's mostly just continue to be led by Chief Creative Officer Jennifer Lee, continue to be led by President Sean Bailey, Pete Dockett, Doctor, Kevin Feige, Kathleen Kennedy. They're kind of keeping things at the top of their various different departments.
Normally the top jobs, they do keep the same for consistency, John. But you see that in quite a lot of big firms when there's a takeover.
You don't expect anybody from Fox to really take over from a Disney exec, because they really are the best in the business, Stephen. You know,
certainly not.
But the biggest, as I did say, the biggest sort of casualty is Fox 2000 there. After the current slate of films obviously finished there, no longer ceasing to exist, and no longer going to be in business, which is a shame, because when you look through the list of films they have produced, the likes of The Hate You Give, Love, Simon, Hidden Figures, even Joy, I quite liked that film, the Jennifer Lawrence film. It was okay, it wasn't amazing, but it was pretty damn good, about this sort of I think she was a bit of an entrepreneur figure who tried to create a business with mops or something. It was quite cool. Bridge of Spies, great Tom Hanks film. Just other ones like The Night at the Museum, Life of Pi. The list is really endless. I think they've done The Devil Wears Prada. So they've done a whole host of brilliant films. Some crap ones as well, but the hit ratio is pretty damn high on the good side of things. So it's a shame that they are going to cease to exist in a sense after this merger, but that's just life, Stephen, when these two big powerhouses merge together to make one homogenous sort of entity. You're always going to have casualties. We all, kind of as Marvel fans and kind of a big blockbuster fans, we focus on the benefits and the perks of this merger. Things are only going to get better for the MCU. We're going to see the X-Men franchise coming in, Deadpool coming in. Well, that's maybe a downside for me, because I think they're going to try and PG it, which is going to be a travesty for obviously Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool, but I digress, that's another thing. But we kind of fixate on the positives, and we forget the downsides of the 3,000 people who are going to lose their jobs. These great studios, independent sort of studios within greater umbrella sort of systems under the likes of Fox, they lose their livelihoods, they lose their ability to make films when these things happen, which is a shame, but look, that's just life, really.
Well, it is, John. You know, and life goes on, and I think these people, you know, we wish them well as well. You know, I think they will go on to do other things in other studios. But listen, we're just going to move on to our next article, John, and it is a studio that's doing very well. It's Netflix.
It's Netflix.
This is an article that came in from /film.com. More than half of Netflix new library titles in 2018 were original content. More than half, John. That's amazing.
It's extraordinary, isn't it?
Talking to you before we came on air, in regards to, I subscribed to Netflix back in 2013, and it really just was the greatest hits vault. You know, it was Robocop, Total Recall, all those old 80s classics out there. They came such a long way in such a short time, 6 years, you know, since I subscribed. Their original content 2 years ago was hit and miss. I think they're getting more hits now than you know. And when you look at films like The Irishman, it's going to be coming out very shortly as well. Just
Roma.
Roma.
I-22.
Just these directors that have got a bit more freedom to you know, make the films they want to make. The actors that they can pull in as well, that want to be part of these projects as well, is what's really given Netflix a sort of head start on the, you know, these new streamable, you know, platforms. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Disney will catch up very quickly when they do finally release Disney Plus, John. But at the moment, Netflix, they've had a few criticisms from certain directors, film festivals as well here in Europe, in regards to
I'm not going to take Steven
like
Spielberg's criticism of
not now.
Netflix seriously when he's getting into bed with Apple streaming service. No longer than what, a month, 2 weeks after. Yeah, he criticises and tries to walk Netflix's path to another Oscar success.
I did say he had an agenda, John. So there
he gets into bed with a $1 trillion company in Apple. I love Apple, as you can see. We're clutching Apple products. We've got one there recording the audio into. I love Apple. Yeah, but come on, you're being a hypocrite, Stephen. Come on. You can't criticise Netflix for taking over and rejuvenating and modernising the business and then going to bed with Apple.
You look at the collaborations as well, John. It says in the article in regards to the likes of The Crown, which was a collaboration with Sony, and the likes of Lionsgate with Orange is the New Black, which I liked the first couple of seasons of, but I kind of fell away from it. That was my choice. I don't know how well it was, but and then you look at the Marvel content as well. They had on there the likes of Daredevil, The Punisher, Jessica Jones to an extent as well. They were very, I was about to say very successful till you mentioned that one. You know, The Defenders was okay.
Still not seen it.
Even the collaborating, you know, side of the studio with other studios as well has mostly been a success as well.
It has, yeah. You know? Yeah, they've worked with the likes of Lionsgate and Sony, as you did say, Stephen, on The Crown, Orange is the New Black. A whole host of original content in various different veins, and documentaries and films and feature-length films, as we did mention, Roma and stuff like that. They really are raising the bar and improving the quality of their content year in, year out. They're getting lots of very talented executives and producers and stuff like that. We actually discussed it, I think it was about 7 or 8 months back or something. They were stealing a lot of Disney's up-and-coming talent, so it's no surprise to see they're raising the barometer or the bar, whatever the hell you want to call it, in terms of original content, and that is then seeing itself obviously manifesting in the amount of original content coming out on the streaming service, increasing year in, year out. I think they says in this article, back in 2016 they laid out plans to really shake up their service. They wanted to get to the point where more than half of the content on their channel or on their service was original content. I think they've got a way to go in terms of just the wide service. This is just in the year 2018. It's been 50% of the new stuff released in the year, calendar year, has been the original content. I think they're still sitting at maybe 11% of the content, total content on Netflix as a whole, is original, as opposed to non-original stuff they're buying up. But that has increased, I think, 7% or something in 2 years alone. Yeah, so they really have increased leaps and bounds, and they are on the right path to getting that 50% mark of original content. And I'm glad, Stephen, because I've enjoyed the majority. There's a lot of crap on Netflix. I'm not going to try and beat around the bush here and say it's all amazing. And they've got a lot of crap on there, but I do notice that the quality's been going up and up and up. The likes of Velvet Buzzsaw, which I did enjoy. A lot of people criticised that and said it was crap.
I actually enjoyed it. Scruggs as well.
The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. And as you did mention, Stephen, all the various different TV shows that they have had a hand in, the likes of the MCU, or not the MCU, the Marvel stuff. Yeah. As you did mention, Defenders and stuff like that. And just a whole host of other stuff, man. So I'm glad to see that they are continuing to increase the original content, the quality, the amount they're putting out, because they really are going to have to evolve once Disney come into the market.
I think so, John. Yeah.
Apple come into the market.
I think so, because I think a lot of people, whether they're being flippant or not, are saying that Netflix is getting ditched the minute Disney Plus. I think it's a little tad unfair. Yeah. I don't think it's going to have that much effect on them. They know what's coming. They're prepared. That's why they're going.
Platforms, isn't it, really?
going. That's why they're going for these independent, Netflix original content. I think that's where their future lies. They've built up their their library over the last 7-8 years now. As you said, there's a lot of Gump in there, but there is a lot of gold nuggets in there if you just look for them. Yeah,
and they're increasing the quality of people they can also attract, Stephen. As I did mention, Paul Greengrass, Alfonso Cuarón, the forgot
Martin
the
Scorsese,
name. Martin Scorsese, the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
So they, obviously Kevin Smith, he's not as talented as them, he'd even admit it himself, but he collaborates with them, so they're increasing the quality of people who they can attract, and that's only going to have benefits and obviously manifest itself in better original content coming out in the years that come on. So Stephen, I digress, I'm going to move on.
No, listen, John,
I'm starting
we'll move on
here.
to an article that came in from Screen Rant. This is to do with Scooby-Doo movie that's casting Zac Efron and Amanda Seyfried as Fred and Daphne. Now, this isn't going to be Zoiks. This isn't going to be as you know, the previous ones that we saw in the early 2000s with the live action kind of thing.
They were not bad.
The first one was decent, but kind of a bit silly. I thought this is going to be strictly animated. Reading the article, John, it looks like it's going to have a whole host of Hanna-Barbera characters is going to be in there. I'm pretty sure the likes of the Flintstones, I don't know, the timeline might actually contradict the one with the Flintstones, and the Jetsons as well, but the likes of Top Cat, and I'm pretty sure Yogi Bear will be in there, and we're getting a villain as well. It's going to be Dick Dastardly, and hopefully Little Muttley will be in there as well. Yeah, I hope
Little Muttley will be in there too, Stephen. Dick Dastardly's a part of my childhood. I actually forgot all about him. He was in, what was it? What was he in? The racing one?
Yeah, the wacky races,
Penelope.
Yeah, they were all in that actually. Captain Caveman.
Seeing all of these characters coming together is absolutely mental. It's like a sort of a Avengers Assemble of the animated. What did you say the verse was?
Hanna-Barbera,
Hanna-Barbera verse. So that's going to be incredible. Just seeing a new animated Scooby-Doo film is right up my street, Stephen. As I said to you before we came on, a massive part of my childhood. I absolutely doted on these characters. I watched it religiously, day in, day out. Love it. It's a fantastic sort of a. How would you describe it, Stephen? Coming from 1969 through to now, timeless, touching upon so many different generations. It's very relatable. As I did say to you, never noticed when I was younger. Also, the munchies that Scooby and Shaggy were having.
That's why they called them Scooby snacks.
Yeah, they were heavily hammering the hash wheat, and the marijuana, the weed. Whatever you want to call it, the wacky backy. Yeah.
Scooby-Dooby.
Scooby-Dooby. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Yeah. Probably acid as well. Maybe having a little bit of LSD, some mushrooms.
What was in that mystery machine?
Yeah, a lot of hallucinogenic drugs, Stephen, and they were hammering
that
into the sandwiches.
Scene from Bruce Almighty, you know. With
exactly. Yeah, exactly. That was like that was like the mystery van. Yeah. Absolutely, Stephen. But man, I cannot wait for it, and they're getting the right people on board. Zac Efron to voice, obviously Fred. He's perfect for that character. He's just a sort of a real life physical manifestation of Fred. He's kind of a big muscular. He didn't even get the blonde hair just now as well. Man, so he's perfect for it. He's got great voice acting for it. Daphne is going to be portrayed by Amanda Seyfried. Fantastic. The guy who did
Freddie Prinze Jr. did Fred, didn't he? In the live action, he was perfect for that as well.
Kind of that
smug.
Yeah, smug sort of a muscly guy. I quite like Freddie. I mean, I know you hate him, Stephen, to a degree, but I kind of like him.
It's a bit strong, John.
You don't know him, You get a slight dislike because he is a bit smug. It's a bit like Smug Chandler again, isn't it, Jason Clarke? Get one of those faces, you either want to punch it in or you want to give it a little cuddle. But what a digress, Stephen. Will Forte is doing Shaggy, Gina Rodriguez is doing Velma, Frank Welker, who has voiced Scooby-Doo from 2002. He actually voiced the original Fred from '69.
Amazing,
so this guy's stepping into the shoes of Scooby once again. Great voiced cast I've got coming on board here. It's a great story by all accounts. We've not got much of a story, but just this sort of a
I didn't know
colliding of different characters.
So
I would love to see the Flintstones as well, Stephen. That's a great shout. Seeing sort of a step. Oh, you could have a sort of a vortex to come through and see the Jetsons coming in as well. That'd be fantastic.
This film's going to be called Scoob, and it's out in 2020, John. I don't know if you get anything more to say.
I've not got a Scoob.
But listen, I'll keep an eye out for this. I always like Scooby-Doo and Shaggy.
Joke.
But listen, the next one we're going to talk about in regards to... I've actually lost the article, John, so you might want to help me out.
I'll come in, Stephen. It was the Unmade Forrest Gump sequel. Would have been out of its damn mind. That is Slash Films heading, not mine. But the general gist of the story is, Stephen, that the original screenwriter from Forrest Gump, Eric Roth, wrote a sequel back in the late 90s, early 2000s. He obviously was involved in some degree with Tom Hanks, and I can't recall who the other guy's name is off the top of my head, Stephen, but they were involved in writing this screenplay.
It might have been Bob Zemeckis.
It was Bob Zemeckis. I think you're absolutely right, Stephen. They kind of a brain waved together. I don't think that's the right term.
Brainstormed
together, produced this screenplay. They were very happy with it. They handed it into the studio the day before the 9/11, September 11th, obviously atrocities, tragedy, terrorist attack, whatever you want to call it, inside job, false flag attack, doesn't matter. It was an atrocity that ended with the deaths of thousands of people. So that put the halters on this film being a thing. Stephen, are you upset about this, having read some of the interesting little plot points that have come out in this article? Because I'm quite upset, and I think there's still a chance they can do this film even to
I
this
think
day.
they could, John, with the technology now, but I think a lot of the things that they described in this article I was intrigued by. I think if they were going to do Forrest Gump 2, that would have been about the time to do it. They could have set it maybe, you know, in the late 80s, carrying you through to the 90s.
Well, I think they said, I think they did say it was going to be set in the 90s, Stephen. I think it was going to, I don't know, mid-90s or something like that. Anyway,
well, that would tie in with some of the sequences. You're getting to see Forrest Gump dancing with Princess Diana. The whole kids thing, I didn't like. I wonder if it would have been Haley Joel Osment who would have portrayed his boy again in that one.
That would have been amazing.
Because he played him in those closing scenes of the first movie. I didn't really like where they were going with the boy, to be fair. I thought it was a bit dark, a bit distasteful as well.
Forrest Gump was a funny sequence.
No, Forrest Gump was always there was a lot of serious moments in Forrest Gump, played lightheartedly because of the character, his innocence and his view on the world. With a subject like that, I just couldn't see how you'd have to be one of the best writers in the world to make that funny. You really would.
And the sequence you're talking about, Stephen, of course, is that his son is actually suffering from AIDS. And he has a moment where he is being shipped off to school in a school bus, and lots of the kids' parents don't want their children to be mixing with him because they know he's suffering with AIDS. It's very dark. I don't know how you could describe that sequence as funny and put a funny sort of a portrayal or sort of a... I don't know how you could put a spin on that, Stephen, and have it come off.
But then again, you like the likes of Lieutenant Dan losing his legs in Vietnam. It's not a very funny thing to touch upon, but for some reason it worked in that film. Maybe just time, itself allowed that to pass. That I just couldn't see being funny. One of the,
I'm laughing, I don't know why. I've got a dark sense of humour.
One of the things that I always liked about the ending of Forrest Gump was that he had the boy. And there was that touching scene when, I don't know if you remember it, he was sitting down watching, I think, Bert and Ernie, and Forrest Gump was more concerned about his sort of well-being and his mental health as a smart, and it was a very emotional scene, brilliantly acted by Tom Hanks. I wouldn't like to see that character, having suffering that in a second movie. But listen, I would have loved to have seen a Forrest Gump too, but I think the time's probably passed. Technological, we could do it these days, with the de-aging, but I would have loved to have seen it just for that Oklahoma bombing sort of a scene, Stephen, where he's sitting at a bench and it blows up behind him. That would have been incredible. Not for the darkness of the Oklahoma bombing sort of aspect, but just to see again this sequence of him going through all these mental historic moments and somehow finding his way into them. But look, I digress. We have ran out of time, Stephen. We have again.
We have.
Yeah, but listen, I'd just like to thank you once again for joining us on this week's Movie Burner News, and we will be back again tomorrow with the blog rundown.
If you're liking this video, then why not check out our other content on our channel? Every Tuesday we break down the top 10 films in the UK on Box Office Chat. Every Wednesday we discuss the latest entertainment news on Movie Burner News. Every Thursday we chat about the latest movie reviews from our writing team on the blog rundown. And we wrap up the week and get ready for the weekend with the Force Friday show, where we discuss the latest news in the world of Star Wars. If you're liking the content we are putting out, then do subscribe to our channel by hitting that subscribe button and click the bell to receive alerts.